I had the desire to run away, to start a new life, to go start my millions, that as a 16-year-old, I actually left the entire country. And this is back in the days before Google and where can I go as a young man to just start fresh, to start over, to get away from it all. And I chose Grenada. The Encyclopedia Britannica was like, it was an English-speaking country, sounded like we did something in the 80s with Reagan, seemed like they didn't hate Americans, and so that's how I ended up down in Grenada. I actually made it out of the U.S. back in the early 90s as a 16-year-old. And so when I come into, I had the desire to run away, to start a new life, to go start my millions, that as a 16-year-old, I actually left the entire country. And this is back in the days before Google and where can I go as a young man to just start fresh, to start over, to get away from it all. And I chose Grenada. The Encyclopedia Britannica was like, it was an English-speaking country, sounded like we did something in the 80s with Reagan, seemed like they didn't hate Americans, and so that's how I ended up down in Grenada. I actually made it out of the U.S. back in the early 90s as a 16-year-old. And so when I come in, I had the desire to run away, to start a new life, to go start my millions, that as a 16-year-old, I actually left the entire country. And this is back in the days before Google and where can I go as a young man to just start fresh, to start over, to get away from it all. And I chose Grenada. The Encyclopedia Britannica was like, it was an English-speaking country, sounded like we did something in the 80s with Reagan, seemed like they didn't hate Americans, and so that's how I ended up down in Grenada. I actually made it out of the U.S. back in the early 90s as a 16-year-old. And so when I come into
So what you're looking at here is Jared's old website. This is his story of my life, who I am and what's my story. Now he says in a lot of places that his life is an open book. And boy, was he an open book on this page. He talks about everything from his bankruptcy, 2 of them, to his dropping out of school, being homeless, eating out of garbage cans, fathering a child in high school, finding out about that later, I guess when he was married, early marriage. He opened up about a lot. He did not mention SA, and he did not mention, of course, anything else related to that, being a victim or anything. He does mention in the paragraph about going to Grenada. You can see that on there. He does speak about that. But I wanted to show you guys the old website that he has up. It's still there. But I suspect things like this may start getting pulled down off of the internet. Not sure. But I just think it's really weird that he was so open about everything, but never mentioned anything like that. And it could be because it was, of a sexual nature. But he did talk about other intimate things. I don't know. But this story on this website about going to Grenada is a little bit different than what he said in the quote in the interview. Just a little bit different. I don't know if that's significant, but go ahead and read that. And what is a 16-year-old kind of thinking? He might have actually been 17, if all of this is true. What does a 16 or 17-year-old need to, quote, get away from? And, start a new life at 16, 17. That's really sad, huh? If you feel like you need to start your life over already at that age. But anyway, tell me what you think about this, and I'm about to show you the indictment papers. And he does have court on November 30th, so I'm trying to hold judgment. We'll see what happens. I don't know what to think about any of this, really. I believe in supporting the victim, for sure, the alleged victim. I took a couple of notes here to kind of put my thoughts together on that. Let's see here. Oh, I do want to get into her going onto a panel earlier. She went onto a channel. She went onto a panel, and she took questions. Don't know if you guys are aware of that. So I'm going to summarize for you what she said on that channel, and then I will provide the link to it in the description so you can take a look yourself. Okay, so she stated that she didn't put out the emails on Reddit, that she said they were on the survivor group on Facebook. That was her words. She said a Reddit user then shared them with her permission. They had done some sleuthing, figured out who she was, and contacted her and asked her if they could share them. And later on in this interview, she says that she shared them on Reddit. So just consider that. I don't know if she means that she shared them in addition to that person sharing them, but that's how she said that they got out there. The emails that we're seeing is what I'm referring to, and those were not part of the indictment paperwork. Those are something that just got attached when it's gotten spread around, the indictment paperwork. So to keep that in mind, they're not together, and yes, that matters. Anyway, so what do you think about that? She said she had posted them on a Facebook group, an SA survivors group, and let's see, she did state that she always tried to keep her distance from Jared, kind of reiterated the story about the funeral. And then at that point, if I were able to ask her questions, I would have asked her, so you're saying that you posted these emails as they were identifying Jared on Facebook? And I'm wondering, when did that happen? Because that's very interesting. If these were the emails that got posted on Reddit, they clearly identify Jared. They don't identify her, but they do identify Jared. So when did they get posted? And then my other question would be, the emails that are being shared right now, are those all the emails? Are they the emails in full? There's nothing left out or cropped out. Of course, private things being redacted is completely understood, but I'd like some clarification on the emails since they did not come from an official source. They're coming from the individual. Really would like some clarification on, is this all of the emails? Is this everything? Is it every word visible for all of the emails? Nothing is cropped out? That's what I'd like to know. I'd like to know exactly, for sure, how old she was in 1992. Seeing a lot of chatter about her age. Most people are just kind of throwing out there that she was 9 in 1992. She could have been. I'm not saying that I know the answer, but I am hearing a lot of people say that she is currently in her mid-40s, that she's not 39 years old now. She's in her mid-40s, so she wouldn't have been 9 in 1992. That doesn't add up. So, and a lot of people are thinking that she was actually 13 in 1992. I don't know, but I would like to know if anybody out there hearing this knows for sure without relying on the emails. Because the emails, I believe, we're talking about different circumstances, different occurrences. Okay, so here's something that made me really believe her. Really, really, really believe her. She said, because I questioned her motives on trying to get it all in writing, you know? She said something that made me go, that's very reasonable. That's something, her answer to that was really good when they asked, why was she trying to get this in writing? She said she wanted to get it in writing to prove it to the family next time that they shunned her over the issue, because she's been treated like the black sheep of the family, and people don't believe her in the family. She said next time somebody had an issue, she could say, nope, here it is, he admitted it, and that way she wouldn't be called a liar anymore. I think that speaks volumes, I really do. She didn't say anything about, I wanted to get him in trouble, I didn't want to get him, I don't think she wanted to do that originally. I think, personally, and if I could ask her the question, I think she'd probably say yes. I think that when he responded to that last email, you're welcome, hope it helps you, Jared, it was kind of very impersonal, kind of cold. That probably pissed her off. And she probably thought, well, you son of a bitch, I have this in writing. And she decided to go ahead and, use it against him. Hell hath no, what is that quote? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Okay, so I am kind of curious why she's decided to go on YouTube panels. I don't know if that's a really good idea. She stated that there are other victims and that she has even reached out to and spoken to a few of them. They asked her about the secrecy involved, if it's an LDS, a Mormon church thing. She said she felt like it was more of a generational thing in the family, but that it was or is a hardcore Mormon family background. When asked how she, feels about all of this and how all this has affected her, what she went through, her answers were spot on. She said she's always had trust issues. She has that empty pit feeling in her gut, and a lack of family connections. Often when people are the victim and they try to stand up or speak out against the person, especially if that person's popular in the family, then the accuser gets kind of ousted. So I'm wondering if that's what she's referring to with the family disconnect. She said she has not spoken to Jared since the emails, although nobody's told her not to. She just decided not to do that. Let's see. She said that once she did her story, she told two things here. She told the last thing first and the first thing last, so I'm going to turn them around so that they make more sense. She was asked first about how she felt when the indictment came down, and then she was asked about how she came out with the story and told the police. I think she should have been asked those the other way around. So I'm going to tell you about them the other way around so it makes more sense, really. She said that she started getting comfortable with talking about it on Facebook, on the SA survivors groups. And then she graduated to speaking on Reddit. And then she said she felt like she survived the backlash that she got there. She decided to then go talk to her therapist. The therapist gave her a pep talk. And then she decided she was strong enough to handle whatever may come, and she filed her police report against him at that point. Then later, she said it had been a while. She didn't say how long, but she said she was jumping up and down and crying when the district attorney called and told her about the indictment. At that point, Jared's sister got up on panel, and I'm not going to go over that. I will, not that I don't, just choosing not to, no other reason than that. But I'll put the link to that, the whole thing in the description so y'all can go watch it. And Deets on the Streets. She did a really good condensing of the interview as well. So check that out. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious if I am able to find answers to my questions. I do believe in supporting victims for sure. I also believe that people are innocent until proven guilty. So y'all, I'm kind of struggling on this. I don't have a hero complex when it comes to people, so it's not really that at all. I'm just very fact-based. So anyway, tell me what you think. Share with me, and if you have any answers to the questions that I had, I would so greatly appreciate it.